Hello, my name is Justin Bortnick and I'm a sales engineer with Digital Guardian. Today I'll be playing the role of an engineer here at Teletran. And at Teletran, we're a top innovator in the drone marketplace. Now, our number one IP at Teletran are our drone designs, and that's what I'm going to be working with today. So in this case, I'm going to be using SharePoint. You may be using OneDrive or Dropbox, or maybe it's a network share, but in the end, we're all accessing sensitive data from some sort of repository. Now, in this case, I pull that file down, and we can then work with that data locally. Now, the number one goal of the Digital Guardian agent, well, that's protect data without impacting that user. So that means that I should be able to work with my data in my normal day-to-day job without ever having to deal with any prompts or any extra interactions from the Digital Guardian agent. To open, we go ahead and we're going to work with that data. Now, in this case, what we see is that we have our design, which is a drone design here. I can access the model, I can zoom in, I can come in, I can even erase and remove parts. And then I can save that data back locally to my system. And we did that all without having any performance impact or any change of interaction because of the agent being installed. But now I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. In this case, I'm going to accidentally press the print screen key. Now what we see here is that Justin Bortnick has attempted to perform a print screen operation, and that happened when the confidential document was opened. Now why is that document confidential? Well, it came from a repository that was marked confidential within SharePoint. So now I have a choice. I'm brought to a moral situation where I have to decide, do I want to continue with my action? Now, being that I'm a good employee and my number one goal is to collect a paycheck and get a promotion, I'm going to go ahead and abort my actions. But in the real world, what that just did is it gave us an opportunity to educate our employees. And what we found is that 90% of all of our employees, when they saw that first prompt, they never repeat that action again. And the remaining 10%, well, those are the users of interest. Those are the ones we'd like to focus on. And in that case, where they maybe continued with the action, and maybe their number one goal is to steal your data if they're a malicious user. So what do? They just sit there and bang on that print screen key trying to steal the data. Now in this case, will the employee try to use Outlook to send that data out? Most likely not. No, what they'll do is go to Gmail, and they're going to try to take that information and directly upload that information to Gmail. Now when they do that, what do they see? Well, it says, hey, Justin Bortnick, you're attempting to upload a classified file. It's called policedrone.skp, and it's going to a public website. What is that website? Well, it's mail.google.com. And oh, by the way, this is protected behind an SSL certificate. So unless you have an SSL decryptor back home, you're going to have no idea what this user even did. And in this case, the user didn't even send the email out. All they did was create a draft in the Gmail folder. Well, since the Digital Guardian agent lives at the kernel below the operating system, we're able to detect that data before it ever enters the pipe. And so in this case, we're once again informing the user that their action's been blocked and recorded, and we allow them to educate themselves, but no longer is this an educational prompt. This one has actually generated an alert. And why is that? Well, they're breaking company policy. So now we're here in the console, and we can see every event that occurred during our demonstration. We can see that the user went and accessed a file called policedrone.skp, and it came from our SharePoint repository. It also came from a repository called confidential within that folder structure. We then see that that file got stored locally to our downloads folder, and it got this blue classification icon applied. Now that icon, it means that that data is confidential. Therefore, anytime that data is accessed, moved around, there's now a set of rules that will protect that data from being removed from the system. And so what we see here is the next event was the user opened this file, and they did that in SketchUp. Now SketchUp, when they created a temporary file called an SKB, and that was generated based upon the initial file of an SKP. Now notice in the background, this was a transaction that was seamless because that data also gets protected. Now, if I was a malicious actor, I would be targeting those temporary files because those would less likely be applied to any type of data protection. But with the Digital Guardian agent, we're following that data and we're able to persist the protection no matter what happens to the data. Now, the user then starts to perform some print screen operations, and each one of those events comes up with a red block icon. Now, these are educational prompts, and like I said, it was a moral question for that user to decide whether or not they want to continue with their actions. And as that employee had decided to then egress the data by actually taking that data and mailing it out through Gmail, that data has been blocked, And we can also tell you it came from port 443, and the file was 2.7 megabytes. I hope this has been educational, and let us know if you have any questions. Have a great day.